are you?
Hey, Coach.
Evening, guys.
Literally 365 days ago, 75% of this table was in another country doing something different right now.
Yeah.
It's an anniversary.
I know that. I texted him first thing this morning.
Yeah.
I do have a question. Do you have the anniversaries like logged into your phone, or are you like on social media and you can tell?
Oh, I keep them in my phone.
Look at that.
Don't I wish you a happy
Prepared.
birthday
You
all
did.
the time?
Prepared. You did.
Of course. I keep up with my boys. You
There
know
you
I
go.
love
that.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
You know that.
I love
Hey,
that.
by the way, I just got back from Shreveport. I was up in Shreveport this weekend. I spoke at a couple of first pitch dinners Friday night and Saturday night, and drove back last night to be here for today, but spent most of yesterday afternoon with Austin Ross.
Oh, wow.
So he wanted me to say hello to you guys,
Yeah.
and he's doing great. And we spent, a few hours together, and that made the trip worthwhile for me.
Absolutely. You got
Nice.
players everywhere.
Nice.
You got people everywhere. Coach, this event, right, has grown, I feel like, exponentially over the years. When you came in here, it was one of the things that
We started it, Mikey.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
2008 was the first year we did it.
Yeah.
I actually had started a dinner like this up at Notre Dame in my last 5 years there. Of course, we didn't have the fan base up at Notre Dame like we have here at LSU, so I was looking for something to try to, create interest about the baseball program. There were people who lived in South Bend, Indiana, didn't even know we had a baseball team, So I decided to have a first pitch dinner in late January, early February. Well, there's 2 feet of snow on the ground, and
Right.
temperatures are like 3,
Right.
And I told people, I want you to come to this event as though you're going to the ballpark. Wear jeans and
Right.
clothes
Yeah,
that you're
yeah.
going to wear at the ballpark. If you wear a tie, we're going to cut it off. And we served ballpark food. We had hawkers running around, like popcorn and
that's
throw
awesome.
bags.
Okay.
And, when they bought a ticket to the event, it was also a season ticket to the baseball games. So it encouraged people to come out to the games, and it was a huge success. I had Tommy Lasorda the first year speak, and then Jim Hendry, who was the GM of the Cubs. And then we had John Grisham, the writer, and then we had Roger Clemens and Brad Lidge.
John Grisham threw a hot dog at you.
Yeah, that's right. You know that story. So it was such a big success. By the end of the time, the last couple of years, we had like 1,700 people.
Wow.
So when we came down to LSU the next year, and Skip was telling me that nobody gives away their season tickets, but that the attendance at the games was really down the last couple of years before I got here. And of course, our first year, Jared was on that team, knows that we were young, we were thin in a lot of ways, and we struggled through that first year. We didn't have the benefit of a transfer portal back in those days. But then I knew we had a good team in 2008. And I said, we're going to do this preseason dinner to try to get the fans re-engaged and get them enthused about it. And our coaching staff organized the whole thing.
Wow.
So it was a lot of work.
Wow.
And we did it on a financial loss. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was Janice Guicho came to me after we went to Omaha in 08 and said, let us, meaning the Bengal Bells, let us do the banquet next year. And you don't have to be so involved, and spend time on it. And so I let them take it over. And of course, we won the national championship that year. And so from then on, it just was a huge event. And it was a great way to get the fans excited for the new season. And fortunately, we had, that was our only national championship. We had a lot of great seasons, as you guys know. And, the fans kept coming, and we had a lot of fun with it.
But I say it's funny you mentioned that. We were literally just talking about it. This is one of the few places in America, really, in my opinion, when it comes to baseball, and that means Major League Baseball, minor league baseball, college baseball. When it comes to baseball, this is one of the few places in America where this early you're able to realize, like, oh wow, it's baseball season because of the success that this event has had. Would you agree with that?
Oh, Jared, come on, listen. There's a lot of great baseball programs out there now, and a lot of them are trying to copy what we do here at LSU. They have first pitch dinners now all over the country. We were one of the first to do it. And, the other teams are building great stadiums and drawing people to the games. But there's just something about LSU. As you guys know, we have that it factor. Mm-hmm. And it's been so many years, way back to when Skip came here and transformed the program. and then like to think that we maintained it as a pretty good program through the 15 years, and now Jay, of course, has taken over and wins the national championship in his second year. So, there's always a lot of enthusiasm around the baseball program, no matter what the event is.
Coach, is it okay if Kevin sits next to you?
We just all got distracted because the great Kevin Gosman just appeared.
Smells like money in here.
Somehow Baton Rouge Houdini's here.
Yeah, Kevin Gosman, one of the great pitchers in LSU baseball history. I think he's the featured speaker tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
We get to interview him on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to interview him. It's not going to be a speech.
It's going to be us. It's going to be a conversation about him.
Yeah. That's a better way to do it anyway.
I agree. You mentioned Jay and what LSU has built, right? Obviously, this event in particular has grown and grown. Last year, I think they said it was the most attended event since they've had it, right? Which you would imagine as it continues to grow and get popularity. This year, they're coming off a national championship, and Jay is doing something he's never had to do in his career. Is come and coach a team after winning a national championship, being a defending national champion. You've done that.
Right.
It is a different animal. It is a different type of mentality you have to go into. You could bring back 90% of your team, but every year the team's different. And you've got to figure out how to structure that team, build that chemistry.
How
did you do it? What is something that you, if you could give a coach a tip, how do you go into the next year being a defending national champion and kind of trying to manage that team the different way?
Well, I'm probably not the best expert to talk about it because I didn't do it very well the very next year.
Well, we were good for then we got some injuries. It was bad luck.
Well, a lot of factors happen. Anthony Renato and Matty Ott were All-Americans the year we won the national championship, and then Anthony pitched opening night and then missed the next 2 months of the season with a sore elbow. Matty Ott didn't pitch as well as he had pitched the year before. They kind of had a scouting report on him, and whereas he used to use that running fastball to get ahead and then throw that nasty slider to put him away, the next year that they knew what he was going to do, and so they game planned him better. So now he starts trying to use his slider early in the count because they're jumping on fastballs, and they got him out of his game, and it took him a while to kind of be able to get back in. We also had a weakness at third base the next year. We lost so many guys off our 2009 team, Mikey. The guys sitting next to you, of course, Jared and DJ LeMayu and Ochenko and Schimpf and all those guys. And we just were that one infielder short.
Yeah.
And, we had a great double play combination in NOLA and Hanover, but third base was a weakness. And it just seems when you have that one weak area, the ball always seems to find that guy, And I think that had an effect on our team. But, Jay's got a great pitching staff this year. And even though they lost a lot of position players, they were so deep last year that guys like Paxton Clean and Jared Jones and Brady Neal and, some other guys, Josh Pearson's back. They're gonna have a good core of guys that got a lot of playing time last year. And then, of course, it's a whole different ball game with this transfer portal now. If you have an area that you really need to fill, you just go out and get a veteran player from another school. And so, I really don't see much of a drop-off with the team this year.
Right.
And I think they'll be right back in there competing again.
It's a completely different structure of the team, too. A lot of arms, a lot of depth on the pitching, on the mound. And then, some young guys in the lineup, it's going to take some time for them to kind of figure some stuff out, right? That's okay because you have the arms, hopefully, to.
Well, I think their whole rotation is going to be transfer players. With the kid from Alabama and of course they got Hurd back, and then the other kid from UCLA, and then they got I watched this lefty from Xavier, and Vanderbilt's season last year. He looked like Chris Sale out there, and I mean they just got the transfer portal and the NIL. It really has changed the face of college baseball in a big way, And Jay's very good at going out and identifying the transfers and getting the right guys to fill the needs that we have here.
Coach, it's so we've talked about it a bunch of times. I like bringing it up again because I like for people to hear a different perspective. That's not just us, right? That's the whole reason of having people on the show. When you speak about the pitching staff that this team has this year, Is it very often you see staffs that are that deep, that are that quality? Is it just us, or are we crazy?
Jared, it's not just our staff, but arms in general across the country. I've never seen so many guys throwing 95 to 100 miles an hour. I remember when Alex Lang was a freshman, and the first pitch that he threw of his college career registered 95 up on the board, and and I remember there was a buzz in the stadium because of that first pitch. I think the only pitcher that I ever saw throw that hard was the guy that just sat down next to me, Kevin Gosman. You know, it was, but now it just seems like everybody's
it's
throwing 95
now, right?
to 100 miles an hour. And, you know, I'll bet we got 10 or 12 guys that are throwing that hard on this staff. You know, when Kevin was here, it was a rarity, you know, and, you know, obviously, you know, he was a dominating pitcher here and was a very high draft choice. And
He's okay right now.
He's done okay so far.
Well, one of these years, he'll get over the hump. One of these years, he'll get over the hump and win the Cy Young instead of finishing second.
He just likes to be on the podium. He doesn't want to be on the top of it.
Happy to be here.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on the show. I want to keep you on the whole time. We only got 15 more minutes.
Yeah, no.
And shut it down.
Hey, Gosman's here. I'm old news. I'm out of here.
Coach, we're gonna be in there. We get to go interview. Maybe have a couple little jabs on the stage with Kevin. And you listen. I'll never forget. And I'm gonna tell the story, but I'm gonna tell it in the most G-rated version. And nothing was done wrong. When Kevin came on his visit, I'll never forget. You brought me and Anthony in your room, and you said, "Hey, listen. I don't care what you got to do. Within the rules, we have got to get him here. Do not let him leave here without committing here."
Did I say that
you said, and you know what? The next day
Don't
he
let
committed.
Gosman know I told
And
him
he
that.
committed. We got him. We did.
You, Kevin, you have to promise me when you're up there talking, you're not going to tell bad stories about me, okay? You're not going to talk about when you got mad at me at Vanderbilt, please.
Even if you do talk about it, he doesn't remember it.
That's it.
That is the one trick we got. If you tell one, he's like, "Oh, well,
I didn't know all these years that he was mad at me until one day we were talking. And he said, "You remember when you called like 3 pickoff plays in a row at first base when I had 2 strikes on a hitter and 2 outs?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, I do remember that." You guys are all great. I love you all. You know that.
I love you.
Appreciate let's have some fun tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay?
Appreciate you.